Mass Media.
Welcome to Anything But Cliché, a place for real talk about age gaps, culture clashes, and all the things people whisper about but rarely discuss out loud.
Yeah, we're kind of defining a relationship on our own terms.
I would say unconventional relationship.
In every sense of the term. So many dynamics that come into our relationship. Our races, our age. You're like basically on Social Security.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, I love you.
Here are your hosts, Clifton and Shay.
Welcome back to Anything But Cliché. As always, I'm Clifton.
I'm Shay.
And together we're Cliché. All right, Shay, today I want to ask you how the pandemic of 2020 and I guess into 2022, I guess? I don't know. It depends on when you say it ended.
Yeah.
But how did it impact your life?
The panini.
The pandini?
The panini, in a crazy way.
Okay.
For sure.
Like what? Didn't you move during that time?
I did.
You did a bi-coastal move?
From New York to San Diego, which was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
But
Well, that and getting on Hinge.
And meeting you. But before then, it was really fucking scary, especially in New York. But I was just scared because I didn't know. You know, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And everyone had an opinion.
To the pandemic in New York. But were you in New York City at the time? Or New York?
No.
You were upstate?
I was upstate. I was in Orange County.
Okay.
But, I mean, it completely just shut down.
Yeah.
So it was, like, super scary.
Like, even, like, the train stopped running, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
The trains did stop running. It was insanity.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
You know, it was kind of weird. I think, well, obviously weird. It was weird for everybody. I wasn't particularly scared of it because to me, it was just another flu, right? Mm-hmm. The flu has different, I guess, iterations. I know that's not the right term, but it's a little bit different every year, right? And part of me, like, I was telling my team as this information was rolling out, I was telling my team, you know, if all of this, like, you know, bad news and stuff like that, if it's freaking you out, when you read a headline, replace the word coronavirus or COVID-19 with the flu.
Yeah. And
then see if you're still scared, because that's all it really is, you know? And so for me, you know, my department at work went from over 200 people to, I think, 14 of us. And
wow. So
I had just started a new job and I was like, oh, I'm for sure gone, right? Because my position used to be, like, my LA colleague, he used to run all of Southern California. So I thought, oh, the powers that be will just eliminate my position and tell him to go back to running all of Southern California. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, yeah, I'm definitely, you know, getting let go. And I was already making plans. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to get in Lenny, you know, my little camper van.
I love Lenny.
Yeah, I'm going to load my surfboards on it, and I'm going to, you know, get all my camping gear in Lenny, and I'm going to see if I can make it to Patagonia, you know. I just want to...
Where's Patagonia?
All the way at the southern tip of Argentina or Chile. I can't remember. Cape Horn is all the way at the bottom end of South America. Ready. Yeah, I just wanted to drive all the way down the Pacific coast, you know. Mm-hmm. And you can't... I guess there's a section like between Colombia and I think it's maybe Panama, like that. There's no road like through that part of the Central America, so you have to drive onto a ferry and then connect by sea. Yeah. But in any case, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get laid off. You know, I've got my severance that I was expecting and all this stuff. Like, so I'm just gonna be cruising, right? And then they retained me, and I was like, motherfucker.
Or thank God.
I was already out the door.
Oh my God, you're nuts.
I was like, dude, I'm gonna surf down the entire Pacific coast. This is gonna be awesome.
You're so lucky. You're like, fuck. I was looking for a way out.
I'm gonna get so good at Spanish. Like I'm probably 30% fluent now. Like I figured I could get at least to 50 or maybe even 80% like fluent, and be a little dangerous with my Espanol. But none of that happened. Instead, I was retained, but they cut my pay by 20% and said, "Oh, just work 4 days a week." And and I was like, "There's nothing for me to do. I don't have a team anymore. I don't have a boss. I don't have a boss's boss." I was like,
"That's perfect. Yeah. Getting paid for 4 days a week, even though it's a 20% cut. I don't need to do shit. This is actually say less."
So like I was, I was new in my position, so I didn't really know what to do. So, I would kind of like go around and talk to people and just kind of check in. I mean, they were really just social calls. There was nothing for me to do in my job. So then I was like, you know what? I had wanted to build apartments in the basement of one of my investment properties. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do that project now.
Yeah.
So, I just kicked that project off in like June or July of 2020, and it took me a little less than a year, but, it was a crazy undertaking for me to do it all myself. I mean, it wasn't completely on my own. I had to, so when I bought this house, it had 6-foot head clearance in the basement. And, obviously, you need 8 feet of head clearance. I mean, minimum, I think, is 7'2", ? For it to be considered habitable space. But anyway, so I had to, instead, a lot of people, what they would do would be to lift the house and then build up, what's called the stem wall around the perimeter of the foundation. And instead of doing that, I did what's called underpinning, where we basically, and I didn't do this. This is beyond my skills set, like by a long distance. But anyway, so I hired a company to come in, and basically they dug down 4 feet deeper. They dug out underneath the foundation in 4-foot increments. So there was basically, it was just sort of a intermittent foundation below it, and then they put in all of this rebar and poured new concrete, these huge footings, and then came back with gravel and rock and everything for proper drainage and a substrate for concrete slab, and poured that all back in, and and then built out a couple apartments down there. And so that's what I did during COVID. And then by the time I was done, like May of 2021, things were starting to kind of, there were no more lockdowns, I don't think, by that summer. Normal. Yeah, things were kind of going back to normal. So
I think I moved here.
Yeah.
In May of 21. Well, I didn't move here till officially of August of 21.
Yeah.
But I came here in May of 21, and I was like, I'm moving here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting time. A part of me like wishes that we just wouldn't have done anything, right?
Yeah.
That news wouldn't have blown it out of proportion, that, that the government wouldn't have done any like shutdowns or changed, policies or anything like that. And people just could have, like, if the word, like, if the news media never got a hold of the word like coronavirus and COVID-19, and, it was just that, oh, it's a really bad flu season this year, or whatever. And we would have kind of gone through it like that. I just wonder, obviously it's a thought experiment, it's hindsight, right? I wonder if we would be in the situation we're in now, with inflation and all the other things that came along after the pandemic, right?
I think so.
I mean, I think obviously politicians were in a very difficult position because, there's so much unknown about what we're dealing with in the moment, right? It's so easy, to look back and be like, oh, we should have done this or we should have done that or whatever. But, at the end of the day here in the United States, we had like over 1 million deaths, right? Over the course, I think that death toll is still technically climbing because people still die of it. But if you think about the number of COVID cases that there were, it's less than a 1% death rate. And so if you're under the age of, 65, you're not going to die from this thing unless you have some other underlying issue. So, that's why, like,
this is where we always differ with it.
Yeah. So there, with regard to death, obviously nobody wants to die. And, on a micro level, like macro versus micro, nobody wants, Aunt Nancy or their coworker Jim or whoever. Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants them to die, right? Yeah. But if it's somebody who's out of your sphere of influence from a macro level, then thinning the herd is probably a good thing. Like this is actually an unpopular.
I do not agree.
I know this is a really unpopular opinion, but when COVID started, I actually thought it was going to be great. And hold on. Let me explain why.
Okay.
What I sort of thought was going to happen was that it was going to be the Roaring 20s all over again, right? What I thought was going to happen was that it was going to wipe out all the old people, so their wealth would transition down to the next generation, and then people would be flush, right? They've got all this cash to spend, and all the old folks are gone, so they're not sucking up resources and everything else. So now it's like everybody go party. Like it's going to be like people have got money to spend. There are less people, consuming the resources. Like so, prices are going to go down for everything, like utilities and gas and food and everything. Everything should be cheaper, and everybody's got more money to spend. So it should have been like just an amazing time after it just kind of wiped out all the weak people, right?
I love the way your mind works.
Leave the strong behind to have fun and party.
I love the way your mind works.
Well, anyway, none of that happened.
No, we're in the complete opposite. Instead, people are broke, angry, and stressed.
Right. Instead, they shut everything down and handed out a bunch of free money, right? Which I never got, which kind of sucks. Like I never.
Oh, you didn't get a little stimmy?
I never got. You didn't get a
dime. Stimmy check?
No.
You didn't get a stimmy chimmy?
Nothing. That sounds good though. Can I get one of those now? Maybe after the show. Little stimmy chimmy. What up, girl? What you doing later? You want to give me a stimmy chimmy?
Always. I can't believe you can get a little stimmy chimney.
Nothing.
Well, guess what?
What?
The richer get richer.
Do they?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I guess they do.
Because guess what?
But
those of us that got the little stimmy chimney are stressy right now.
Well, yeah.
Inflation's hitting us hard.
Dude, no kidding. I was curious. Like, they say, 6% or whatever, right? Inflation is 6% annual from like the last 2 or 3 years. It's like, that's bullshit.
That's just like 50. I don't care what they say.
For real. I looked just out of curiosity. I was like, okay, let's take something like, that's ubiquitous across, the whole country.
I love when you use big words.
So I chose McDonald's menu prices, and I looked at 2020 versus 2025, right? So like a 20-piece nugget was, what was it? I wrote it down, $5.99 in 2020. You know what it is now? $9.79. That's like almost double the price, right? It's like 40% increase, and so it's So all that free money the government printed just devalued the money that we were holding, right?
But people
now
also,
has less
I guess,
buying power.
Needed it at the time because, I have to watch my language. People were not working.
Right.
You know, a lot of people weren't working. I have to say, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know that was getting that little stimmy had nothing to show for it.
Oh, afterwards?
Oh my God.
Well, you weren't supposed to have anything to show for it. You were supposed to be spending it on your
no, but
like
they were giving them
groceries and utilities.
Stupid money.
What do you mean?
Like, I know people that, first of all, never even had a job and were not paying taxes, and they were getting like $1,000+ a week.
No way. For
yes,
real?
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's nice.
Never even worked.
Yeah.
While my ass still has to work. And I'm stressed out. And I work in health insurance. So everyone's stressed out about the fucking like it was like
what was your job like at the time? Like going through COVID? I mean,
it was stressful.
Did you ever fear getting laid off?
I did, which is why I got the vaccination, because I didn't know if my job was like, you have to come back, and I was scared about getting laid off, and then I hear people aren't getting jobs, and I'm just like, I have to make a decision, either get the vaccine and keep my job or not get the vaccine. They say they're going to fire me. I don't even know if I can get unemployment if I just, I didn't know what my options were. And I have to say, my anxiety got so heightened during the time of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because even just because of my parents, like my dad at the time was a detective. My mom works with children, and she's also like older. My grandmother is older. Like, I was just like, I hope everyone just stays in the goddamn house. Like, please stay in the fucking house. Like, that's what I did. But like,
oh, you were loving that bed rotting session.
But it's crazy. I wasn't like that until the pandemic, and
really?
I feel like the pandemic has made me into that.
That's actually a good point.
And it's really bad because I have realized that, and I'm like, damn, I'm so used to like just bed rotting and being in the house, or just like working, and then after I work I bed rot because I was not able to do anything else. Like in New York, especially where I was, they were so strict. Like I was genuinely like, you couldn't hang out. I remember like I went to the city because my friend owned a club, and like I'm having a good time, and in every like maybe like 30 minutes or so I would like stop, and I'm like, oh my God, what if the cops come? Like, we're going to all get in so much fucking, like, we're not.
You guys wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
Well, not even
they
that,
they would have
also,
thrown
like,
the book at the business owner.
What if I'm around someone that fucking has COVID? And, because at that time, it was just so new, and they kept giving out so much information. I felt like that was contradicting information they gave out the day before. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, to be honest. I'm like, are we gonna die?
Yeah,
like,
that was the hard part about the whole thing, was that there was a lot of fear mongering, and it's easy to control people when they're afraid and you control the information.
Yeah,
that's one of my biggest issues with how it was managed. And again, I know it was an incredibly difficult time to be a politician, to be a leader. I get all of that. But what I don't understand is, yes, you can err on the side of caution in the beginning because you don't know. But then as more information comes out, I think you can pivot and say, look, new information has become available, so we're going to change this policy. I know I said this, 3 months ago, but now we have new information, so now I'm changing course.
It's like they can never admit a fault.
They can't, because for whatever reason, well, their opposition will end up, citing that in the next election, right?
Remember when
this guy's a flip-flopper because he said this and then he's changed. It's like,
but I mean,
that's
it just
what an
ended up being
intelligent
a
human
fuck
does.
up for everyone. Yeah, everyone makes mistakes. It's
not even a mistake. You made a decision based on the information that was available at the time.
Yeah.
And then when different information is available, more information, better information, you should be able to recalibrate your decision,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not how it works, And I really feel like the role of government is not to lock things down. It's not to, hand out stimulus checks. It's not to, make all of these policies. The role of government is to inform the population.
Like it's not to control us, it's to inform us.
Exactly. Tell us what the risks are, and then let us make our own decisions.
Yeah.
Like encourage people to wear masks if you genuinely think that's going to help people. Mm-hmm. But what mask wearing, because most people weren't wearing like an effective mask, right? When you talk about...
you're right. They were buying... To be honest, I don't think at one point during the pandemic, I'm wearing like a little fake Gucci mask.
Exactly. A lot of people were doing that. Like the particulate is so small of the actual virus that it's going to pass right through that, right? What mask wearing, when you're wearing that type of mask... Like people think, the surgeons, for example, when they're wearing those surgical masks, people think that the surgeon is protecting themselves from the patient. It's the opposite. The surgeon is protecting the patient from them. And that's what people didn't understand. They wanted everyone to wear a mask because if I'm wearing a mask, I'm protecting you from me, not the other way around. But they wouldn't tell people that because people aren't altruistic enough, generally speaking, to say, okay, it's good for everyone if I wear a mask, right? And it's probably true. It's the American way, right? It's to be like, oh, fuck authority or whatever. Like, if I'm supposed to wear it to protect you, then I don't care about you. I'm not going to wear it, you know? But
Dr. Sprague.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
Well, I learned a little bit about it because, I learned about the different ratings for filtration. And you have to have a small enough filter to catch the particulate that's so microscopic. So cutting up an old t-shirt and making it into a mask is not an effective means of protecting yourself. Anyway, all that to say, I wish that the government would be better at just letting people know what's going on truthfully and honestly, and then letting people decide.
Yeah.
I would have been like, for me personally,
and not control.
Yeah, me personally, I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a new flu in town. I'm not.
There's a new flu.
I'm not too worried about it.
Motherfuckers are dying. There's just a new flu in town.
Yeah, people are gonna die anyway. NBD. And then they tried to close down all travel and shit like that. That was actually the best thing about being in San Diego, is they never closed Mexico, right? Mexico never closed to tourism, and you couldn't get international flights to Mexico, but their domestic flights were running. Yeah. So, you could, being here in San Diego, cross the border on foot, hop over to the TJ airport and explore all of Mexico. Yeah.
That's why we love Mexico.
I did so much exploration, during those few years of COVID in Mexico. It was amazing. Like, I feel, in a way, COVID was kind of like a terrorist attack, right? Hold on. In that, it sort of attempted, and I know I'm sort of...
the disease you're talking about.
I'm talking about the disease, but I know it doesn't have its own
virus,
intent or anything like that. But in a way, it sort of tried to change people's behavior, right? Yeah. And that's, I feel like, what terror attacks try to do too. And the way that you combat a terror attack is you don't change your behavior. And so I didn't want to change my behavior from COVID. I still wanted to go to TJ. I still wanted to go out and party with my friends and, do all the other stuff. So I did the best I could to maintain the lifestyle that I enjoy, despite there being, all of these, all this fear mongering and other stuff out there. Yeah. I knew I wasn't at risk when I ultimately did get it. Yeah, it was a rough ride, but I normally don't get sick. I get I can't even remember the last time I had the flu other than when I had COVID, which, again, I call the flu. But prior to that, I probably get it like once every 5 years, Yeah. And, I was laid up pretty good for like 4 days. I remember I had to
laid up with who?
With COVID. Laid up, yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I remember the hardest part for me was like the breathing. Now I understand why they were putting people on ventilators and stuff, because I was like, if I walked up like a flight of stairs or just taking a shower, like a hot shower with the steam and stuff, you know, it feels like there's less oxygen with each breath. So I'd be like worn out after taking a shower. I'd have to like, they sell these little like cylinders of oxygen for athletes and stuff. So I got one of those, and I would just take a couple hits off the oxygen, and I would be going like, I would just be breathing super hard, and then just like a little hit of oxygen, and I was like right back to normal.
Yeah.
But it was that part of it was a little scary because I'd never been sick like that before. So, but you know, again, just chalk it up to experience and moving on, right?
Yeah, when I got it, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad for me, but I also feel like, I don't know if it was because I had the vaccine, but also when I got it, I remember feeling so, like, I was kind of upset with myself because I'm like, how did you get COVID? Like, I kind of felt a little irresponsible in a way.
I can see that.
Just because also I couldn't track where the hell I got it from. I couldn't believe I had it. And I was like, was I outside with this? Like, my ass has been outside. So have I been outside with this? But yeah. But also when I got the vaccination, I was horribly sick. Yeah. And then they recalled it the next day. Oh, that's crazy. And I was just like, I wish I never got this. And then I got because again, I was like, I don't know if they're going to tell me I need to come back into the office and you need to have this or that. So, especially because I work in fucking health insurance. Right. So I got the booster and it was fine. The booster was fine for me. But then after that, I was like, I'm not getting this again because now, one, no one at my job is telling me I need it. Two, I work from home. Yeah. I just moved to San Diego. I'm not I'm not around people anyway. Like, I was just like, I don't need to keep I don't like putting vaccines and shit in my body if I don't need it. So I'm like, I don't need this. I don't even get the flu shot.
Yeah, I didn't get it, but it's because I had, previous medical history where I can't even get like a, any kind of vaccination now, or they advised me not to. Because I had Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is an autoimmune disease, I guess. But so I had an out. I just, I didn't like how they were forcing people to take it. Like, I would rather just get sick and then let my body recover, and then now I have natural immunity, right? Yeah. Like, they were scared. A better way. I know they were scaring. They were trying to scare the shit out of you.
It wasn't even just about your health. It was like, damn, my money. Like, I don't want you fucking with my money. Yeah. If you're saying I can't work for you anymore, or like, I don't want this whole drama.
It just felt like a big science experiment, right? Because
they fell to it.
It was the first time that they were using this particular delivery system. I believe it's called an mRNA. It's the first time that they've used this delivery system for a vaccine. And what's different about this is it's not a traditional vaccine in that most. And again, this is not my sandbox. I don't know a lot about this, but historically, the way that they developed vaccines is they would give you a very little amount of, the bug, right? Whatever it was, the virus or whatever. They would give you a little bit that was like pretty much dead, right? And so you would get a little sick, but then your body would develop. Fight it off. Yeah, exactly. Fight it off. You'd develop natural immunity, so to speak, and then you'd be fine. But this apparently it changes your DNA, right? It binds to the double helix or whatever in some way that it literally changes your DNA. And the reason that they had been developing this, I guess, since like the 70s. It had been in development for a long time. What?
This is a conspiracy theory?
No. This is facts.
They've been developing COVID?
No, not the COVID vaccine. The mRNA delivery system for vaccines. They had been developing it since like the 70s, I believe. Maybe more recent than that. But in any case, they had never really used it. And that was the reason that it came to market so quickly, was because they already had the delivery system developed, and it had been in development for so long. So it was like, okay, we're ready to roll this thing out, even though like it was in a way, untested. So that's what bothered me about it. Like,
why didn't they test it on anyone?
Well, no, they knew that the delivery system worked, right? But they had never used it in a widespread vaccination.
Oh, I'm a guinea pig.
Yeah, and you could see it as a benefit or as a detriment, because this system, this delivery method, because it does change your DNA, you would pass your immunity on to your offspring. That's the nice thing about it. So then your kids wouldn't necessarily need to be vaccinated against the things that you were already vaccinated, right? Because you would pass it on. But what if whatever they delivered to you is not ideal, or 10 years, 20 years, 50 years down the road, they're like, oh, this, thing that we gave everybody, now we find out later that it does this to you, right?
Which is why everyone's like cautious and everything about getting the COVID shot.
Yeah.
Or why people were super cautious.
Yeah. But, at the end of the day, nobody knew,
Yeah. You only know what you know.
Yeah. So, I think that to put a bow on this, there were some missteps, but we did the best we could to get through it. And now we're dealing with some of the consequences, like, high prices for 20-piece chicken McNuggets.
I know.
That's okay. You don't eat chicken McNuggets anymore anyway, now that I turned you on to Chick-fil-A.
That is very true, but I don't want to be spending $8 on a goddamn Crunchwrap Supreme. That's
a good point. Yeah.
Right? It's like $8.
I don't know.
It's
probably
like $8. Is it worth it? Yeah.
Dude, I went and bought a sandwich the other day, and I had this sandwich frequently because a friend of mine.
From where?
It's from the what's it called? Crown Point Cafe. Crown Point Coffee. Anyway.
Oh, is it the place you take?
Yeah, I've taken you there. And I didn't realize it, but this sandwich is $22.
$22 goddamn dollars for a sandwich?
Correct.
What's on the sandwich?
Because I'd always gone there with a buddy, and we would get like smoothies or coffee and like sandwich and blah, blah, blah. They kind of split it? And, well, no, sometimes we get our own, but I never really.
You get a lot of stuff.
We get a few things, and so I never really.
20?
Yeah, it never occurred to me that after tax, tip, whatever other fees they throw on there, $22 for this sandwich.
What's on the sandwich?
Heaven. I mean,
there better be a goddamn steak on that bitch. Some surf and turf,
like
some
turkey
lobster.
And bacon and like cream cheese and cucumbers and tomato and onion and lettuce. It's a bomb ass sandwich.
First of all, you're taking me to get this sandwich this weekend. 2, there's not even like.
Can we go Dutch?
Bye.
All right.
For a $22 sandwich, you know what? I can't even be mad at you because I need to taste it to justify.
All right.
20.
You've had it before because that's the only thing I get there.
No, we usually get a breakfast burrito.
No, we don't. Not there. Anyway.
I've never had that sandwich though, but.
Okay. So let's wrap this up, babe. Anything you want to say as we roll out?
The panini was the best.
The pandini? Panzini?
No, it's panini.
The panini was
pandemic.
Very, very good to me.
I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I wouldn't be in San Diego, then I wouldn't be here.
Then it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Exactly.
And then in your bed later.
Ooh. Hey-o. say less. And on that note, peace.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Anything But Cliche. We'll see you guys next week.
Listen to us on Apple Music. You can watch us on Spotify. And as always, check out Olas Media. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Anything But Cliche. Hit follow, smash that subscribe button, and maybe even send this to someone who really needs to hear it. For the spicy stuff we don't say on air, follow the show on Instagram at @anythingbutcliche. And for the full episodes, blog, and more, visit olasmedia.com. Anything But Cliche is recorded in studios in San Diego, California, and proudly produced by Olas Media, an IVC media company.
Olas Media.